back to another episode of Love City Live. I'm joined with one of our friends of the business, the most handsome and talented Chris Sinanan of Creatives Near You app. I'm going to give everybody a moment or two to come in and just settle in around the campfire. I don't know who the fuck builds campfires at 1:03 in the afternoon.
Somebody does.
But it's getting colder outside, right?
Yes, it is.
Chris, what's good today? How are you feeling?
Feeling great, man. Feeling great. Feeling blessed. Happy.
I see. Where are you coming in from? I see some family photos going on there. I see some behind the scenes. Y'all who are watching, chime in and let me know where you're watching from, and who you are. Give Chris and myself a shout out, if you will. Let's see here. I'm trying to pull up the chats as well. Who's behind there? Who's back there on the wall? We got 2 viewers right now.
On the wall, there's a couple pictures. It's my daughter Sage, my good friend, my longest friend Luis Larios and his wife from a vacation a couple years ago. My grandfather, who is constant inspiration for me, and childhood picture of me and my dad back in the day.
I love it. And tell me a little bit more. We were talking in pre-show about the treatments on these walls. Like how secure and tight is that room on sound? People that may not know you, you're a sound producer and audio engineer. How does all of that factor into the space that you're in right now?
Well, basements are typically not the greatest place for mixing. So, the idea behind all of this sound absorption panels is just the idea of canceling out reflections. So as I produce from my speakers on these right here, speakers send out sound from the back and the front. So all of this does is just cancel out reverberation so that you flatten the sound. If you were to walk in this room and clap, without all of this, you would hear a lot of reverb and noise, and that kind of just eliminates it for a more equalized mixing experience. Really,
I love it. So for you future sound producers and engineers out there, know that you need to have a padded room like this to kind of make those crispy sounds that Chris makes. Okay, so the reason why we're here today is not to talk about the lovely family photos on the wall, and we're not here to talk about the what they call the wall treatments. We're here to talk about an event that's coming up on the 26th of September.
Yep.
Chris and Creatives Near You app has jumped in to co-produce the People's Cabaret and start presenting talented, awesome people like Adriana Rose that is in part of their network. And now we're going to join forces to have people within the Love City Arts Network and people within the Creatives Near You app network cross-pollinate and see what kind of beautiful flowers we can make together. What are your thoughts about the 26th as we start to walk towards this week to come?
I just think that it's a needed thing. Obviously, when I first reached out to you about the idea, I just saw how the People's Cabaret and the events itself were forming, and I just love the energy. I myself participated in it one day, on the first one, I believe. And, I just thought it really embraced the overall message of what Canoe is all about, of just connecting people and embracing that passion, that fire that, lives in all of us. And especially in this time, in Corona time and everything, I just think it's a really great, unique way to give people a little bit of a platform to just express themselves and show what they can do.
Tell me a little more about when you say passion and fire. What does that mean for a Canoe artist? And Canoe, by the way, is shorthand for Creatives Near You. CNU is the app. It's now available in all of the app stores: Google Play, Apple, the Apple App Store. When you say passion and fire, though, what are you talking about specifically within the artist that you're trying to attract?
Well, creatives as a whole, we are all just people just trying to share our vision, our love, our inability to just sit still. You know what I mean? We all create with this energy and this idea that we want to express ourselves in a different way than just verbally in standard ways that people communicate. So it's just, for me, I just feel that passion is just that, that compellingness to go out there and just show what you can do and just, speak in a different language, than what people usually do. It's a fire that just never gets put out.
I love it. I love it. When you think about a passionate and fiery artist on the Canoe app, who do you see in your mind? If we had to imagine what a creatives near you artist looks like, who would they be fashioned in your mind if you had to pick your faves?
Well, I always come and think about the people that I know that do a lot, wear a lot of different hats. First one that comes to my mind is a friend of mine named Phil Silversberg, who is he does so many things and does them all well. But he's a music producer, amazing piano player, top notch photographer and videographer. And he's just one of those people that, if you look at any of his pages, definitely check him out. Phil Silverberg, and he's in the app as the same thing. And he's just one of those people that, because he does so many things, you always see him actively doing something, either playing a live show, you see him on set somewhere doing some photography, you see him out in the field shooting a music video, like, and that's the type of passion I'm talking about. Just those people that it's just like, I don't have the opportunities that maybe some people may have, so I'm going to make my own opportunities and I'm going to force it. That's the type of person I really love.
That's also what I love about our work. As my mustache starts to itch. 1 second.
It happens.
It happens, especially in COVID. Like, it's got a mind of its own. Like, unless I drown it daily and just submerge it like under the water, it just has a mind of its own. You're pointing to people who love to create. These are people who would be creating even if a paycheck was attached or not. Because I want to stop briefly and just pull over and talk about one's love to create and how it's so tethered to money in this capitalistic motherfucker called the so-called United States of America. And I know that I always push this into political territory because I believe the personal is political and the political is personal. But if we could just go there for just a moment, we've got artists out here that simply love to create. COVID has taken away the majority of the jobs for serving, which was a huge survival job territory, for lack of better terminology, for people who were out here trying to do the thriving and starving artist kind of life. Now all they have is the love to create. How do we keep people inspired when there's a pandemic that can kill you outdoors? Like, how do we keep people actually engaged with the apps? I want to read briefly the all of the people that you service from. This is the Creatives Near You Instagram page that of course cleared out the moment that I decided that I wanted to read from it. But the people that you're looking for, imagine if every creative you ever needed was just steps away. And so what Chris is attempting to do is geolocate people to connect them, create collaborative opportunities, and create. He is looking for musicians, producers, songwriters, engineers, vocalists, sound designers, models, videographers, directors, writers, performers, 3D artists, all kinds of people that just love to create. What do you think is separating them from their art right now?
I mean, every demographic of artistry has its own particular problems. I come from the world of music, so just what really started this app along was just being in environments and experiences where I would have this set up or something similar to it, and I would just go out in the world and just meet somebody that I would find out was only blocks away, who was in need of the services that I had to provide. And it was just a shame that we went so long without establishing that connection, because who knows what could have been done. And that's just the common problem that I feel happens with all creatives around the world. It's just just not being aware of the type of creative resources around you, the people that are just as hungry, just as ambitious as you are, that are just looking for a way and for other people to collaborate with. And that to me is like the biggest single misfortune about just the creative environments, because we live in an era and generation where the technology, the resources, everything is at our disposal, and everybody is in a place now where they're just trying to make places like this, and just try to just work independently, be more independent. And I just think that hurdle is just with technology and just like phone applications, it just shouldn't be something that stops us anymore. We should have that same resource the same way that we have Yelp and we have Uber and all these other things that graph out our environments and tell us what is at our disposal.
Mm-hmm. What does networking of the future look like for you? You're saying that the Creatives Near You app should be like a Yelp that like connects
Yeah.
artists everywhere, so that if I'm hearing correctly, like you're a sound engineer, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
singer, we're only like 2 miles apart. We should know about
Exactly.
each other, and you're saying that your app can help us make that happen. What do you think
Exactly.
networking for artists in the future looks like? If we're not in Ripley Greer, if we're not in the audition studios every day,
Mm-hmm.
how is this beginning? What do you feel like this is emerging into?
I think that really in the next couple years, what we're going to see is a true understanding of the power of proximity and the power of our environments. I use this common terminology of infusing the environments with the culture of the area that it's in. Because every environment, especially living in New York, the culture of this environment dictates how people perceive it. You know what I mean? New York just being that hustle and flow, that type of energy. And other places in rural America or California, there's a vibe, there's an energy. And I just think that what we are drifting into is an era where people are able and willing to work more independently. I feel eventually big studios and production houses and everything are going to start to have to roll back, because where they would usually say, hey, come in here to use our resources to be able to create, people are now in the type of mindset where it's like, you know what, I don't really need you to do that. I can do this on my own and be efficient and name my own price, my own way of operation. And that's kind of what I see for the future. This is just the means to put everybody on the map so they could start that process.
I love it. I love to hear it too, because I've been trying to figure out for the last, I don't know, maybe it's been a month, why there's been so many gatekeepers in our lives, and what were they
Yeah.
good for? You know,
Yeah.
like what I mean, and I'm not trying to poo-poo the systems that I've benefited in, and the work that I've done up until now, but I'm trying to figure out why we ever needed to like stand in the audition room in the first place. If we were already writing our
Yeah.
amazing, if we were already doing our amazing work or trying to bring the best of our talent that we could, um, why would we even need these giant gatekeepers? Like if you were sitting
Mm-hmm.
over there with the whole studio, why would I need to go through the yellow pages or the white pages? I'm now dating myself, but why would I need to go through these directory platforms and find someone with a studio when you're sitting in one right there that's perfectly fine? What's up with that?
We're talking about an accessibility that years ago. Right now I use
I think we're
Focusrite 2i4,
okay.
which is a basic audio interface. Can you hear me? This type
Um,
of technology has made huge leaps and bounds, whereas an interface like this, can you hear me?
it's
Are you there?
we're having a little bit of networking issues, but it's fine. Yeah, I can hear you. Keep talking. This would be good for the podcast version. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, no, the technology right now is just at a place where it wasn't 10 years ago. And like this audio interface, for instance, is $100 ago. It was weaker, it wasn't as fast, and it was way more expensive. And those three problems existed across the map. Weaker cameras, and less efficient cameras, micro cards that hold photography and everything. We were still operating sometimes on film, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really the advancements of technology and the modern era that we're in that has made it so that we can actually take control and put out efficient work. I produced a whole track that was on my band's last album in the air on my way to California in a 6-hour flight.
Wow, wow, wow.
I
Just from
produced it.
having
That's something unheard of.
just from having more powerful tools. You're saying that the technological opportunities going forward are going to be exponential because of the way that technology is speeding forward. Are you there?
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
All right.
it's just yeah, everything's gonna get smaller and faster.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so talking about the 26th of September with our People's Cabaret event that's coming up. We've got about, it looks like 9 performers on deck so far that are going to be performing. Are there any ones that you're specifically excited about hearing from?
Yep. Excited about Adriana. She I actually got to see her perform at a show last year, and when my band was performing, and she just had some type of angst to it that I love. You know, I come from a rock world, and that's what I was on there. Who is just a performer I knew from college that's just so powerful and so soulful, and I just love her energy and everything she does. And so I'm really excited to hear her, just because I haven't actually heard her perform or sing live in a very long time. We're talking like 5 or 6 years. So I'm really excited about her. And you know, I'm honestly excited about everybody, because I just think in that 5-minute environment, there's this kind of like, you know, it's just like I want to put out my best that I can, you know what I mean? And that energy, that rush of adrenaline sometimes helps people produce like the best quality of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of the People's Cabaret is that we're giving everyone a simple 5 minutes in the sun. Initially, we're going to be doing this monthly with the Creatives Near You people, and if there's enough artists, we'll do some spillover events. But the idea is that you have 5 minutes in this life to use exactly as you see fit. And it's been behind the scenes, it's been a bit of a confounding uh, conundrum for some of the artists, because they're like, you know, well, do you want something musical theater? Do you want something pop? Like, people are so used to having to fit within very specific molds of how they are able to present. So when we give them just full 5 minutes, just do what makes you happy, they don't even know what that means. What would you say to the creative that's kind of still on the fence about what they should present? It looks like we lost Chris for a moment. Anyway, what am I doing on the internet at 1:21 in the afternoon? Anyway, we came on today to promo the People's Cabaret that's coming up on the 26th of September. It's got about 12 artists. They're all going to be singing for 5 minutes each. We really want to create opportunities that allow artists to be seen and heard. There's so many creatives whose jobs have gone away. I'm not able to sing in the spaces where I was singing. I'm not even allowed to audition in the same spaces that I was auditioning in. It's a really, really rough time for creatives. We were already doing the People's Cabaret, but we thought it'd be a great opportunity to have to partner and to have more power with shared community as opposed to just doing it alone. And so we're so very glad to have Christopher Sinanan and the Creatives Near You app join the People's Cabaret. I feel like there's going to be talent like Adriana that surfaced that I would not meet just by myself. And that's the wonderful thing about beloved community. It's like we could do this thing alone. You could start your app. I could start my community, and we could be out here shouting in the wilderness by our damn selves. But we've decided that like a 2-strand cord or a 3-strand cord or a 4-strand cord or a weaved cord is better than us doing it alone. Okay, so you were waxing poetic about Adriana. What does artistic community in the future look like for you? Like in your 5-year plan, how do you see all of us weaving together to actually make art that actually makes our tails wag?
Well said. I believe that just we are in an environment, especially here being in New York and kind of growing this from this basis here. I think that in 5 years time there will just be such an interconnected webbing of everybody's creative potential, you know what I mean? And you'll have a whole pool of resources to pull from different type of energies, different type of genres and styles. And what I just see is just these projects, these things coming up that are just combinations of everybody's perspective, punk styles, a dramatic, simplistic, artistic, there's all these different ways that people like to create. And what I just see are these projects, what would warm my heart is just to know that a project that gets global recognition or helps someone excel and, become the type of star or, the prestige that they're looking for. I would just love to know that they got their first steps through a connection made on Canoe. You know what I mean? Through the ability to, find that one person like, hey, I wasn't able to get my short film to have a really great composition, you know what I mean? A good score. And I found a composer on your app, and we were able to communicate and collaborate and we got this great project out. Like that's the type of thing that I hope comes within the next, 5 years,
See here. Let's switch over a little bit. I love it. Let's switch over to the technical elements of your app. What are some of the features of the app that you're most proud of? I know that people can geolocate and find each other in proximity. Like you could find someone on the block that's creatively active. What are some of the other features that are involved with the Creatives Near You product?
One of the things, the search function, when you register to the app, you input an address, you know what I mean? And that address can be hidden. It doesn't have to be publicly viewed on the map, but it's just so that we know where you are, so that if someone searches your area, you pop up. But what I realized along the process of creation is that not a lot of people work in stationary environments. Like my studio is never going to move, obviously, unless I move it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of creatives that we have to take into consideration work in the environments. They work out in the field. That's where they thrive. So one of the things that we added was this ability to go mobile. And what that does is that it moves the tracker from your location that you registered to your phone's location. So if I'm actually like a model or I'm a photographer out in the city and I'm looking to just do a quick shoot with somebody, I can actually locate somebody based off of their actual location at that moment rather than their location they registered, which could be further away. That's something that we really tried to focus on to make more usable for everybody. There's a lot of things that we obviously wanted to add in the first version of it that we just weren't able to for a multitude of reasons. But the other one is just the ability to, book within the app, book a session that you can actually send to the person you're collaborating with. So you both have it integrated into your calendar, so that you're both on the same page. The ability to save groups into different subcategories, I could actually save a whole league of photographers, musicians, and I could break them down however I see fit. And obviously just the rating system and the ability to develop someone's, their reputation and just let people know who may work with them in the future, the quality of their work and their abilities,
I love it. I love it. The last thing I'm going to talk about is something that I love the most about the Creatives Near You product, and it is actually your heart. Your heart. How long has Creatives Near You app been out? How long has it been out?
We released in May. We did a soft release last May to just like a beta test, but then the official release was this May.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is fresh. I keep in my mind sometimes thinking that you're like full on established and that you've been in the game for like 20 years.
No.
This is new. Okay, so let's especially talk about where's your heart in this, because I think that a lot of people, there's a lot of people out here clamoring for attention and trying to be seen and fame and clout, and that's part. That could be one way to play it. But what I think is special about your product and your app is your motivation. So can we talk a little bit about, because I like to think about this a lot from the Love City perspective, like who's the kid right before Love City Arts was a thing plucked out of the sky? Like what was that guy going through? Can you tell me a little bit about what Chris like this headspace that he was in prior to deciding I'm going to launch an app?
Well, I always saw this as if I was 14 again and I just started playing music, that time I grew up in an area where rock music wasn't really the popular music, and me and my friends were kind of misfits in our neighborhood, and people didn't get it. So there were a lot of opportunities that we weren't able to get, and a lot of things that we really had to string together our resources to try to find. And I always think about it as like, if I'm a kid just getting started, I have no stake in the game, I don't even know how to begin, this is the kind of tool that I wish I would have had. You know what I mean? To just say, you know what, I want to start writing music, or I've been writing music, I want to record a song. If I was able to look in a phone and say, wow, there's a studio, a little studio about 3 blocks away from me, let me hit that guy up, that would have changed my whole life. You know what I mean? That would have changed everything that I've been able to create. It would have made made me feel more legitimate in my attempts, to be an artist, to be a creative. I would have felt always encouraged. I would always look for the things around me. So, I come at it from the artist perspective. I'm not just some dude that just had this idea from talking to somebody. I know for myself, I would have used this. I will use this. You know what I mean? Because I'm still a musician. And I really want to approach this with a more modern business savviness. And we've talked about this in depth before, where it's just like the capitalistic mindset, you know what I mean, of creating something for the means of only profit, of only what I can gain from it, is just not the way that we need to be right now. Like, there's so many things that makes this society grim and gloomy just off of the idea of money, 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 money. My app is free, and yeah, there will be features that will eventually be for more purchase or a monthly subscription. But the core principle of what it does, the utility of finding people around you, that will always be free, because that is something that is needed. I don't need to make money off that. I need to help the communities around me create. And I want to help push culture, push art into the environments around us. That's everything that I want to do.
I love it. I love it. And part of all of that is going to be doing this cabaret on the 26th. We want to invite people who are leaning into this conversation, whether you're leaning in now via the podcast, or if you're going to watch the television show replay later. Anybody who's leaning in towards this event and kind of like, what is Creators Near You still, or what is Love City, what are they all about? I want to encourage you all to taste and see it for yourselves on the 26th at noon. Like I said, about 9 artists right now and growing. We're going to be presenting people that are going to be just doing something new, in that they're not posturing, they're not trying to be somebody or get a Tony Award on that Saturday. They're just going to be the kids we were, singing into our hairbrushes, singing into the mirror. I mean, for me, I had a bunch of stuffed animals that I would just line up on the couch, and they'd be my audience, and I would just sing to them in the single digit years old stage of life. I think what you're trying to do with Creatives Near You, what I'm trying to do over at Loves the Arts, is reimagine what those opportunities look on our adult asses. The ones of us that have responsibility now and things to do. We were talking before we came on live about the fact that, like, life is just moving forward. We both are men who have very abundant, I feel, very abundant and full creative lives. In that, like, we could have just been like, what, I'm gonna strum the guitar today, I'm just gonna sing some songs today. But instead we decided we're gonna do those things and create platforms to connect people. Right. I'm not saying I'm a fucking unicorn. I'm just saying that fills my calendar. And so if it's going to do that, I think that it should be for noble work. And I really, really applaud Absolutely. The work that you're doing. I love that all of this happened for us from just jumping on a quick phone call and saying, wow, I like your vibe. I like what you're about. Let's keep doing things like jumping on the internet at 1:30 in the afternoon to spread more of it. Is there anything thing that you want to leave with people as your guidance and wisdom of this particular Saturday? So the event, once again, just a promo one last time, is going to be on the 26th of September at 12 noon. About 9 artists signed up already, ready to pour out their hearts and just be seen as their lovable selves in this messed up motherfucker. For now, this very temporary. Like, we're just passing through COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, not just COVID. We're just passing. I love the way you said that like you were like 75 years old. You were like passing through.
It's been a long year, man.
It has been a long year. It's been a year that's felt like 5.
Yeah.
What has been on your heart? Like when you're a thinker, like myself, when you are moving through the world just on a casual walk or walking from the car to the, wherever you're going, what has been on your mind heavy these days that you'd like to share to this snapshot in time on Love City Live?
I think lately I've been thinking about why I started creating in the first place, and I've been
creating at large.
At large, yeah. And I been talking to a lot of friends who are finding really hard to deal with kind of the way things are right now. And my advice to them and to everybody watching is just remember why you started creating in the first place. Remember what compelled you to first pick up a pen or pick up an instrument or pick up a camera. You know what I mean? Remember what that passion felt like and the enthusiasm you felt when you were actually able to do something and look at it and be like, wow, I can't believe this was nothing and now it's something. Mm-hmm. The ability, being an adult will make you believe that everything you do has to return in some type of monetary value. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, things that we create is an expression of ourselves. It's as easy as breathing and talking. And it's just that mindset of always trying to make money that sometimes sullies the pureness of our creation. And I think that it's really important to embrace what it was that made you enthusiastic about creation in the first place.
I love it. That sounds like the perfect place to button it up. If you want to remember what made you a fabulous creative in the first place, if you want to see some artists who are on a path and a journey, we're not realized, we're not perfect people, we don't have it all figured out. But if you want to see people that are on their way towards a deeper truth and understanding in their creativity, then log on Saturday, the 26th at noon for the People's Cabaret. We're so grateful to be partnering with you, Christopher Sinanan, and your app. We love the work that you're doing over in your castle in the cloud of the universe. We look for it. All right. On that note, everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We just wanted to stop by for a little time to share. This has been a little bit of a quick fireside chat with Chris Sinanan of the Creatives Near You app. We're going to be jumping on at Love City more often here and there to showcase people in our community that we love. There's no reason with all of the light, love, and abundance going on in the world to not share it. And so we just want to thank all of you for tuning in this afternoon. For those of you who will watch this in the replay, we thank you for being here. This has been Chris Sinanan of the Creatives Near You app, and we're going to see you next week at 12. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. God bless.